President Trump is rebuilding our economy, but we need every American in this fight right now. People leaving federal prison have a 60% unemployment rate. That's really high. I mean, the recidivism in this country is driven by people coming out of prison and not getting jobs, because a job is the number one factor in preventing reoffense. The Safer Supervision Act, which I'm a proponent of, it's in Congress now, is a pro-jobs bill. It helps people leaving prison on federal supervision. Doesn't mean they get released early. This is a regular release, but they get on federal supervision, rejoin our workforce to turn former prisoners into taxpayers. You can strengthen our economy, make America safer by supporting the Safer Supervision Act. Visit safersupervision.com. This is paid for by the Reform Action Fund. You're on Outside the Beltway. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm your blowtorch of free speech in America. Joining me now, we got Todd is back, author of the best-selling book, 2008 Financial Crisis, What Really Happened. Took a picture of me and put it out in the book. Also with us, Elaine Parker. She is Senior Vice President of Communications for the Job Creators Network. Go to joinjcn.com, joinjcn.com. Talking about the economy, Todd, I got you and Elaine on. We really got to get our messaging down, and what we're going to do in the next, I think, is critical, the next 6 months of 2026, in order to put the Republicans on affordability and on inflation and getting things under control in a position to win these midterms. Right now, they are not. Based on what happened 2 weeks ago, based on some of the polling, I saw a poll the other day, Republicans are behind Democrats in the generic congressional ballot between 5 to 8. They were ahead by 3. I mean, they've gone backwards in 60 days. I've never seen anything like this shift. And, part of it was we saw in Virginia and New Jersey. So I'm going to get back to Todd again. You're at the White House. You're with the political team. They said, Todd, what do we need to do to turn the corner here and get people to understand all the good things that we're trying to do and having success with in rebuilding our economy?
Yeah, well, I think the things that we just talked about on the affordability point, that's one part of the discussion. I think the other area that's really big here and important is the tariffs. And as you know, I've supported the tariff policy all the way along. I think we needed to rebalance the scales with Europe and Japan, our primary allies and trading partners, and we need to continue working to isolate China and to decouple from that relationship. Otherwise, we're funding the country that's buying 90% of Iranian oil, which is then being used to create all these problems in the Middle East that we have to deal with. So those are realities, and those are going to be tough. But I think it's very important that given that we start driving to some certainty on what the tariff levels are going to be, so that businesses know and can estimate what their costs are. And this is the biggest thing that I can see that's hanging out there right now is, they're in the Supreme Court and they're moving around. We need to get these things buttoned down so that businesses know, okay, I'm dealing with a 15% tariff here. I'm dealing with a 45% or 47% in China, whatever the numbers are, and they can make their plans and they can invest and start budgeting along those lines. I think, to me, that's the other really big thing that needs to be brought into focus here.
Elaine?
Well, Todd's asking for certainty, and I completely agree with that. That's what small business owners desire, and to be able to plan and to decide how many employees they need and what they can invest in, and when they need to hold back on their investments. And the only way to know that is to have some certainty. And so Todd's 100% right. But the Democrats have succeeded in getting Republicans off message. That's been the big thing. With the shutdown, Republicans have not spent any time talking about the big, beautiful bill and the things that are in it. I mean, the reality is, if you asked any of the congressional Republicans, what's your elevator pitch on it, you're going to get a different answer every time. What Americans are feeling, they feel like there's an affordability crisis, and there is. prices are still inflated from the massive inflation that we experienced under the Biden administration. It's going to take time for prices to come down. But what we have seen is that inflation has been tamed. It is under control. People do have more money in their pockets because of the big, beautiful bill with no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. Gas prices are the lowest they've been in years. As a matter of fact, just to make sure people know it, we've started a sticker campaign, which mirrors the successful campaign during the Biden administration. And we're putting these up everywhere and distributing these stickers of Trump pointing to gas prices, saying lower prices. I did that because the reality is gas prices are lower. And that's because of his policies, his energy policies of drill, baby, drill. He got rid of EV mandates. When we start bringing down the cost of energy, things will come down, but that's going to take time.
So, Elaine, you and I have been in the political messaging arena for many, many years. Why has this, what you just said, all true? Why has it not resonated yet with the general American public, which is driving the Democrats to a 6, 7, 8 point lead on the generic ballot?
Because Democrats have been messaging better. They've gotten Republicans off message. Republicans have been on defense because of that. And they need to talk about the big, beautiful bill and what's in it. What did they do with the big, beautiful bill? They avoided a $4 trillion tax increase on the American people. It would have decimated the middle class. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. These are good things. I think the president is right. And I agree with Todd on the tariffs. I'm glad that we're seeing him strategically bring down the tariffs in some areas. I mean, when your coffee is so expensive you can't drink it in the morning, that's a big deal. So, I mean, coffee was really expensive. So to see him start recognizing that those things do affect everyday ordinary Americans is important. So I'm glad to see that he's doing that. But Republicans, and I think Trump recognizes that the congressional Republicans have not been out there talking about the big, beautiful bill. They've not been talking about the successes of the Trump administration. There is a lot to talk about. And instead, they've been distracted and pushed off message to Democrats. They're very good at doing that. Republicans need to be very disciplined going forward.
You think we have the capability to do that, Todd?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, look, if you just look at Trump's political career, he's got a history here of dealing with these issues, dealing with the messaging, taking on the far left on these kinds of things and coming out ahead and winning every time. And so I don't have any doubt that he's going to figure these things out. He's going to get the party on point, and they're going to figure out the things that they need to do. And the other thing about Trump is he listens. And, this isn't Joe Biden, okay, everything's fine, quit worrying, quit talking about it kind of thing. He has to present a positive attitude, but I'm sure underneath it, he is listening to this stuff, the things that Elaine just mentioned on rolling back some of the tariffs on food issues, coffee, and those kinds of things. That reflects the fact that he's hearing this messaging out there and he's adjusting what they're doing to deal with it. So I think they're going to get on point. But we got to get the jobs going. I think we can trace all of these issues to the slowdown in job growth. And that goes back, because the numbers were distorted and off for so long. It's like, it feels like, that just started in late summer. Well, they had to revise everything going back into the spring. And so, that's something else that was inherited. So we got to remember that. But that's the thing that has to happen. If the job growth gets going, incomes start moving up, then people are going to feel like all these initiatives are being successful. But until that happens, they're still dealing with these affordability issues, and it's grow, baby, grow. I mean, you take drill, baby, drill. It's grow, baby, grow right now.
So, Elaine, Todd here talking about jobs are the key, and yet the president a week ago on Laura Ingraham drops the bomb on expanding H-1B visas, 600,000 Chinese students invading our colleges in order to, for the CCP to pay top to, out-of-state tuition or something, save colleges. I don't even know what that's about. I just can't figure that one out for the life of me. But now we got this push on H-1B visas, which is counter to the jobs message because all the gangster banksters are doing now is importing cheap labor into the country because they can't ship our jobs overseas. So now their jobs are here. So now they're going to get cheap labor through H-1B visas, and they somehow convinced the president to go along with this scheme. What are your thoughts, Elaine Parker?
Well, look, I think the president is looking at a lot of different avenues on how to grow jobs. Todd's right. Again, Todd, I'm agreeing with you. But we do have to grow the jobs. It is grow, baby, grow, drill, baby, drill, bring down the energy prices. Prices are going to stay inflated, and it is going to take growth to overcome the inflated prices because of inflation. In terms of growing jobs, I think the president is looking at all avenues, and Todd's right. He does listen to different ideas, and maybe this is an idea that he's looking at trying and seeing if we can grow some of the jobs. There are a lot of unfilled jobs out there, high-skilled jobs that, maybe he's looking at trying to use this as an avenue to fill jobs, but we'll have to see.
Growing jobs for foreigners does nothing. I don't get it. I mean, you guys are talking about jobs, and now we're going to bring foreigners in for cheap labor to take our kids' jobs and take American workers' jobs at half the labor cost. Like, how does that tie in anything? I mean, that's just counter message. It's a pretty good spin there, Elaine, but I mean, the jobs are supposed to be for Americans, not foreigners. Anyway, Todd and Elaine, right back. Stay with us.